Cartoon. I'm just really late today. I wanted to be on like 20 minutes ago, but unfortunately I had to sort out my tea. Running a bit behind time today. I hope everyone's having a lovely evening. Hope you're all well. For those of you who will come on, most of you are probably angry 20 minutes late. Stuff for a laugh. Oh, still no one here. Surprise, surprise. Assalam, Joe, lovely to see you. I do apologise I'm late. I was cooking dinner. It was a bit of a nightmare run today. Ran out of some supplies, had to go to the shops. Usual stuff. How have you been today, Joe? Everything good your end? Can you hear me all right, Joe? As in, is the volume okay? Give me 2 seconds, I'm going to put my headphones in. Let's hope this comes in a bit better. Let's make sure that they're registering. If you're still there. Typical connection. There we are. Dr. Zeus. Assalamu alaikum. Oh, excuse me. Again, I am terribly sorry about being late. Had to run around to get food, sort out my dinner, pop to the shop, kind of thing. Well, wondering what subject we all want to start today. Dr. Zeus. Are you actually a proper doctor, Dr. Zeus? Just out of curiosity. I'm being rather nosy. No, just a name. Fair enough. I actually thought I was onto something there. I actually had a intellectual joining me. Astaghfirullah, how misgiving. So what do you do, Zeus? Come on, guys, tell me a little bit about you. We can have a conversation then. Just watching me stuff my face is not exactly very entertaining. You're a college student. What are you studying, Zeus? You don't mind me asking. I hope it's something worthwhile. This is one of those interactive lives where I'm doing my best to interact with everyone else. No, Joe, I haven't really had the chance. I've been trying to do some research with Imam Malik. The video I previously recorded yesterday. Media. Not my favourite subject, I must admit. Are we talking modern media? Are we talking historical media? Or what type of media are we talking about? So no, I haven't. I've just been very busy this week currently so far, Joe. Though I have every intention of doing so. My apologies to my loud eating. Video games and TV shows. And tell me, Zeus, where is that going to lead towards a beneficial, worthwhile job? What do you intend to plan with that degree in television and video games? And that was not me throwing shades at you. It was me being mildly sarcastic, as I do. Any riddles? Oh, what type of riddles are you looking for, Joe? I'm not really a riddly type person, if I must be honest. More of a fact analytical individual. Riddles. I'd have to think about that. Any riddles from me? No, not really. I'm not really a kind of riddled person. I don't tend to write riddles or to think of any, really. Oh. So, here's a good one for you, Joe. What time is it when an elephant sits on the fence? Since you asked for riddles. It's a good riddle, that one. What time is it when an elephant sits on the fence? I can almost see Joe. I can almost see Joe googling it. Time to get a new fence. Time to get a new fence. That one's wrong. It's funny but wrong. There's another one. This one's a bit easier. Okay. Fair enough, Zeus. My apologies. I was not passing any shades, Zeus. At all. I was more of a curious to know where you were going in the direction from that. What gets wet whilst drying, Joe? What gets wet whilst drying? Second riddle. I'm sorry, my coffee. Where's my coffee? There we are. The weather has been absolutely foul today, so I haven't been able to do any filming outside. You don't know. It's a towel. Think about it, Joe. A towel. A towel gets wet whilst you are drying. Make academical sense, wouldn't it? To be honest. So yeah, if anyone's wondering what the countryside outside looks like, it is extremely wet out in the UK. My part of the UK right now. Absolutely filthy, darling. Beyond filthy. Thought I'd give everyone a bit of a bird's eye view of the garden where I normally sit and do my videos. Out here deep in the Gloucestershire wilds. Deep in the non-suburban society that we live in here in Gloucestershire, where tractors are more common than pickup trucks. I have a terrible Attenborough impersonation. It's ghastly. Come on, guys, talk to me. There's like 3 of you in here. Make it at least a conversation for me. Grab the coffee. Wow. So I've got Joe, I've got Dr. Zeus. Who's the third person in the chat? I'd love to know who's in here chatting with us. What's my accent? And that's a really weird thing, my accent. So originally, when I was very little, I had a deeply Irish accent. Then I lived in London for most of my adult life. Until I was probably 18, 19, I left London. So I had a very deep accent then. I travelled a great deal in my late 20s and early 30s. A lot of North Africa, South America, up and down parts of Europe, little bits and pieces of Europe, mostly Spain, Gibraltar areas, etc., which were close to Morocco, a country I absolutely adore. One day, if I can afford it, I'd like to retire to Morocco, definitely. And my accent has migrated from there. And I've been in Gloucestershire since I was in my early 30s. So I've been here at least 10 years. So I would say my accent is British. My accent is British. Are you a fan of video games? Strategy games, Dr. Zeus? Yes, I am. Let me give you an example. Things like XCOM. I don't know if you know what XCOM is, the modern and the old asymmetrical XCOMs. I like most games that genuinely are tactical, strategic, and multi-layered. I used to like Civilization, but they've kind of petered out on me these days. Anything that allows me to test my mind in a kind of asymmetrical, top-down looking kind of video games, and that's on the rare occasion I play them. I'm not a massive fan of spending vast amount of time on it. I'm too busy doing research into Islamic history, etc., on a regular basis. But I do play them from time to time. But my accent, I wouldn't even be able to describe my accent. I would say multinational or internationally English. I think internationally English is probably the others. Novels, I do read a few. I do read a few. I've got an entire drawer of Nietzsche's books. That's the kind of reading I'm into. Quran, hadiths. I never really had a boggle with hadiths. Some people say you shouldn't read them without teachers. But as I said in one of my previous lives, I've never personally had an issue with that. I think it's because I'm theologically trained to start with, being the fact that I've been a missionary. As a Christian missionary, you have some idea of theological understandings, not to take things in literal terminology. So I mean, there are difficulties. There have been difficulties in Abu Bakr that I've had to ask a sheikh for, but they're not as common as you'd expect most modern reverts to have. You know, there's been 2 or 3, and in fact, even my sheikh was quite pleased to say, well, you know, I expected a list of the usual questions to be asked. And I said to him, oh, I was quite surprised. But no, I've only ever asked him a couple of questions over the virility and the chains of narrations, mostly speaking. But never really having a massively moral modern problem, because I'm to be fair, not that really travels. Where have I travelled, Joe? I've said it in many of my videos. Up and down North Africa. North Africa is pretty much where my beating ground when I was a mobile chef. So from Cyrenaica, which is a part of Egypt, if you didn't know, all the way up to Fez in Morocco, and also the Rock or Granada. I've also worked in Valencia and over in Portugal as well, in the capital of Portugal. So I've travelled extensively. Spent a very small amount of time in Brunswick in Germany, and also in Berlin, but again, not a large amount of time. 6 months, I would say, totaling all of my world travel is probably in Germany, whereas I would probably go with 6-7 years in North Africa. So I think very, very highly of North African people. I think they're amazingly vigorous human beings. That you have bad people and good people, but generally the good people in North Africa are very, very well versed in human beings, and nothing but respect and time for them. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to anybody else who's joining my live. There's 4 people here today. We're doing well. We're doing really well. Languages, English, bad English and English, Joe. I know Pidgin Russian. I am starting to learn a little bit of Arabic, but for the bulk of the time, English. I was told by family that I used to speak a little bit of Gaelic when I was little, mostly when I was conversing with my grandmother, but I wouldn't even have a clue how to say it in today's society. So no, not since I was like a wee bear, really small. Like I'm not even prepared to say some of the Russian words I know, because some of them are very rude for my Russian chef colleagues, and B, because I'm probably going to mangle all the pronunciation. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hijabi chick, hijabi sister, maybe not be hijabi chick. I thought you were a hijabi chick when I read that it's sister. Gaelic football? No, I don't. You mean hurley? I don't play hurley. I've never played it. I've spent most of my time in the UK mainland, so I wouldn't have played hurley. Are you talking about hurley, or are you speaking about actual football as in rugby? I don't consider the football kicked around by most English people to be called football. It's a bit of a waste of space and time. But hurley is the traditional game of school children in Ireland. Okay. I think I know who you are. I got a gut feeling you were one of my moderators on TikTok, weren't you? Okay, history of comparative religion. Fair enough, Zeus. I think Hijabi's sister, you were one of my TikTok moderators back on my original Psycho Lockwood account, weren't you? I think my mind is probably correct. Yes, I thought you were. I didn't want to say it was you, Islamic Knowledge. I didn't want people to point at it, but I thought it was you. Because you've been calling yourself Hijabi's sister for some time. How is life treating you, sister? How's school? You behaving yourself? My hair won't behave. It's getting on my nerves now. What do I think about autism? Autism is a form of mental capacity on the spectrums. They're human beings. They are deserving of love, time, and attention, just like any other human being. There's a great deal that goes on with the five. I mean, there's 5 main symptoms towards autism. There's avoiding eye contact, delaying speech and communication skills, reliance on rules and routines, being upset by relatively minor changes, unexpected reactions to sounds, tastes, sights, touch and smells, difficulty understanding other people's emotions. Oh, archaeology, sister. Get in there with the hard sciences. We love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah, no, I remember you saying, Zeus. I remember you saying. It's believed to be an inherited format. Did your father or grandfather have autism by any chance, Zeus, if you don't mind me asking? And there are some environmental factors, but I thought that it was mostly an inherited thing. I believe I've got mild autism to some degree when it comes towards social interaction. I'm terrible at it. Let's be fair. No, I'm very good, thank you, Hijabi sister. Alhamdulillah. So, which university are you going for archaeology, if you don't mind me asking? Archaeology, such a that's a magnificent study. Yes, young lady's definitely going to get herself out there, getting a little trawl out. You'll probably spend most of your time around museums. Even when I went to university, the archaeologists only got out to go to 2 dig sites. And those were traditionally old ones, where they were showing them how dig sites worked. Do you have any particular look of job that you're looking for, sister? The University of York. Very posh. It's not Cambridge, but it'll do. It's respectable to a degree. It's not them Oxford, so it's passable. Yes, it's passable. It is a respectable University of York. I've got quite a few hats, to be honest. I've got my Palestinian. Can't even think of the name now. I did get an offer at Durham University, just accepted it. Oh, didn't. I was about to say you did. Damn, sister. I'm about to say, off to Durham you go. Durham. I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh about that, sister. Oh. I could just see you turning up at Durham, and just the look on your face would be priceless. Oh. I mean, if you're going to slum it, you have to go to Warwick, the University of Warwick, Coventry. And if you're really slumming it, then you're going to Bristol or Manchester. Oh, but I don't particularly like the idea that everyone in the world thinks that Oxford is better than us. They're not. They're just better paid hacks whose daddies have a little bit more money. Admittedly, Oxford's entry standards have dropped recently. They're only down to 96% entry standards to our 99, of course. Student satisfaction is not effective because, well, we have our massive research qualities. Just a bit, sister. It's a laughing joke, to be quite honest. It's not even the top 10 universities in the UK. Graduate prospects, 90%. We're at least keeping on pegging time alongside our brothers over at Oxford. But our research papers are much, much better quality. 94%, they're 83. I'm being a snob now. Admittedly, all the other universities below us, starting from the London School of Economics to the University of St Andrews and then the Imperial College London, all their papers are dropping to about 70s. So, I mean, you've got 73, 74, 74 on research papers involving the other universities, and then it jumps to Oxford at 83, and then there's us at 93, darling. Okay, fair enough. But I'm going to University of York through UCAS clearing. Now, what is the UCAS clearing? Remember, I haven't been to university in a very, very long time, so I probably don't know the terminology you're using, sister. Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone joining me. We're currently talking about universities because the sister was speaking about it to everyone joining the live. And I'm being a bit snobbish because she said she was off to Durham, or she said I turned down Durham, but she missed up her writing, which gave me a very big giggle. I mean, in my opinion, communism doesn't work. Communism as a thought experiment by Karl Marx is actually an excellent idea. Just like we don't live by Adam Smith's capitalism anymore. Neither of them, they're both defunct social engineering projects. Adam Smith's capitalism is dead, and I mean anybody who tells you otherwise is lying. We have a form of feudalistic tech feudalism in modern economical society. Most things are run by big corporations, and they own almost anything and everything. Communism would be brilliant except for the human factor, and it's completely unarguable. You know, humanity is by its very nature greedy, maniacal, poisonous, power hungry. We as a species, not as individuals, but we as a species are very, very uninterested in the rest of our races on a tribal level, everyone else's interests. So this is why communism can't work, relatively speaking. It fails to work on the grounds that it is ideologically incompatible with our human nature. Assalamu alaikum, Grace, Griffin. I'm very good, sister. Alhamdulillah, welcome aboard. I'm sorry I had a late start today. On a Zoom meeting, be back in a few, inshallah. Students, okay. To a different university. UCAS just helps students apply to uni and get offers. UCAS clearing is used for those who didn't get the grades and try to apply somewhere else, and people who got their grades and decide to change to different universities. Okay, that's probably why. That makes complete sense, sister. Alhamdulillah. Because I mean, I was incredibly intelligent for my age. I just came from a poor Irish family, and the Catholic Church sponsored me to go to university. And in that regard, they got their money's worth out of me. I was a missionary for nearly 10 years. So it's not like I didn't pay it off to them. Give me a second, I'm just checking my oven. No, not yet. So Zeus, what do you think you'll be doing? I'm trying to become an archaeologist, though. Ooh, sister, that's not an easy field to break into. I won't lie to you. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. It's gonna be a brutal field to break into. Even if you have all the specializations, the qualifications, even if you go into the Islamic dig sites, I don't have a favourite nasheed. Oh, I do, Joe, but I wouldn't be able to pronounce it to you. Assalamu alaikum, Zoas. Welcome. So archaeology is such a difficult subject to break into. Alhamdulillah, it's not an easy subject to even remotely come into. Something I am going to do, I try to do every live I'm going to go on, is I'm going to try and butcher a page of the Quran. And see if we can plough on in the Tajweed Quran. So last time we were on the first page of Baqarah. Today we're on the second page of Baqarah. So left off front of the page. I'm going to butcher this horrifically, so I apologise. You want to run away now, knock yourselves out. When's the hour tour coming? I do, because one of you don't get paid a lot to be one either. This is true. When's the hour tour coming? What do you mean by the hour tour, Zal? Inalazim kafusun alahim anazarim alalam turahim la yumin. House tour. Ooh, I might do a house tour on Thursday, but it'll be an early tour. I'll do a live tour around my house. I thought, well, it's flat, really. You want to be a historian? Well, then, Zeus, I would strongly advise you to brush up on history degree. It is entirely plausible for you to get one. People underestimate the lack of historical terminological facilities require people to actually try and apply for them. And there are very few people out there who will apply for a history degree. But I'd say go for it. And mashallah, go for it. Don't let your autism hold you back. Do not be frightened, Zeus, because of your autism. It is not. I'm dyslexic and I have a degree. I model where my words go. So it is no flaw more than any other person. You are more than capable of acquiring it. But yeah, I might do a house tour on Thursday. Have a wander around the house, and, show everyone my various places. Most of you have seen the living room. I love you too, brother. I love you for the sake of Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, to those who are welcome to my live. I remember your view is amazing. Was you here, Ziaras, when I showed you outside the garden? I'll show you again. Let me show you all the garden again. So this is the garden view. Now it's very, very wet out today. That's why I haven't done any video recording, because I like to do it in the garden. And that's the back area of where we live, and it goes on, and the fields and the farms are way, way over there. So the farmer that I live on, he owns all of this. He owns absolutely all of this, including the housing estate that we live in now. The man is stinking rich. Like, he's got money. And then there's farms that go further on ahead as well. Yeah, it is. It is beautiful. It is a beautiful scene. Generally, the countryside where I live is very, very beautiful. Very scenic. More Muslims should move out of the cities. Alhamdulillah. You'll watch the racism in our country drop like a stone. Right view driving. You think the driving, the right steering, Zaras, honestly, just get out of America. The American corporations are sinking it into a cesspool. Get out of America. Run while you can. I think you're in America, aren't you, Zal? Salaam alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What special video are you hitting 1K subs? I don't know. That's a damn good question, Abdul. I don't know. I think because I'm having to re-piece together the Imam Malik. I think that 15-minute video is going to be it. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to my lives, brothers and sisters, and everyone else. The driving, spices or blend. In what method? Are we talking perfume or are we talking food? Go to Egypt, go see the pyramids. Pyramids are beautiful. Pyramids are beautiful. They're a little bit too commercialised, in my opinion. Go to the Valley of the Tomb of the King, sister. No, I do not know David Wood. Astaghfirullah, disgusting human being. Vile. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome. Food, spice. Oh, definitely spices. Spices, absolutely. All the way spices. Haz, welcome to my live. I live. Live is opposing off. I fully understand what you mean by live is opposing off there. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to everyone joining my live. I was going to butcher another page of the Quran today on this live, but answering questions. Shawaz, SK, lovely to see you. Popping off, see you in a bit, Zorek. I know who it is, SK. I know the crew, I can see them. I need to fix my spelling. Zorek. I can see the crew. And see, like you kind of jumped on. Oh, kind of feeling my neck today. Zyronic. SK does not need a formal announcement. His ego's too large as it is, sister. Astaghfirullah. He does not need an announcement. Formal. He's anything but formal. Why me? Almost all of these lives, almost all of my lives, you two are like dish, dish, dish. I love it. I've missed that energy. Welcome back. Roll out the red carpet. Do you think Sufism is real Islam? I don't know, Zeus. You haven't missed much, sister. Oh, she's going to violate you, SK. She does it every time, mate. And you line up for it. You're the simp king, remember? You just line up to get shot. You really do. Not much, sister. To be honest, not much at all. No, to answer your question about Sufism, brother, I don't know. I, as an air of caution, unless I am convinced otherwise, if someone says La ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulu, that makes them Muslim, I accept them as Muslim. Does that make sense? That includes Shias, that includes quite a lot of people. 8 views, I know. Yes, you do. SK, don't make me rinse you and embarrass you about the times you've been crying in the G-chat to us about girls. Okay? Don't make me rinse you. You'll get rinsed to the point where everyone will be crying and laughing. All right? So shush up there. You'll get rinsed, washed, cleaned, folded. Rinsed so badly your mama couldn't iron you. I think he's run away now. I think he's one of the 8s that's just going to run away. He knows his team can absolutely obliterate him if they want to. Oh, of course, sister, absolutely. No, I'm teasing him. I'm just teasing him. It's a safe space. Safe space, safe space. Not about girls, you mug. There's no moderators on this. I wouldn't even know how to make moderators, SK. That's the beautiful thing about moderations here on this. There's no moderation. This isn't TikTok. It's Mr. Lockwood and uncensored. Remember, you came to my live, brother. You came to my live. I want to ask you a question, if you don't mind. No, not at all. Lately, a show called Peaky Blinders, in which the Irish are shown as militants. Is that true? Early Irish people, yes, absolutely. There is to answer your question, Abdul. Our early cousins, when defending the attempts to restore Ireland as a unified country, were incredibly militant. And in fact, the Troubles, where I grew up, much my age, was based around that very notion itself. Now, I do love you, SK. SK, let's not be kidding about this. I love you for the sake of Allah. Yahya is the Irish Dr. Zakir. Very good question. Very good question. I'm missing the hat for that. So my apologies. Let's do this one. This is a very good question, and I will answer the gentleman with the right answer. But yes, in the Peaky Blinders time period, the early 1900s, and all the way up, to be quite honest, until probably only in the 90s when the what's the name Accord came in, the Belfast Accord. And so, in a nutshell, yes, the absolutely stay united, absolutely. So, in essence, to your question, yes and no. It lasted better part of 150, 160 years, probably from the 1850s. The Irish became really militant. There were suicides, there were attacks, starvations, individual shooters. But in terms of that time period from the Irish being militant in the 1900s, absolutely. From the 1930s upwards, and probably till the end of the 1980s, it was a heavy resistance against the British rule, and it wasn't even up for conversation. It was going on. SK, everyone knows you're all talk. Everybody in the live knows you're all talk. Everyone in the live knows you're all talk. But I hope that answers your question for you, brother, involving the Peaky Blinders. But in essence, the je ne sais quoi of their history, absolutely. They were fighting for the independence of Ireland. You can understand it about that. So the Irish militantism was about freeing their country in the 1920s from occupation. The British Empire had occupied them for centuries, absolutely centuries, and they were prepared to give out violence. And that violent overthrow didn't die out until mid-50s, then sparked back up in Northern Ireland because of the IRA and the desire to reunify the island. I fundamentally believe that Belfast and Northern Ireland should go back to Ireland. I fundamentally believe it, without a shadow of a doubt. I prefer the peaceful route, but, you know, it is what it is. Yahya, you like dal? Dal? I'm a bit confused there, SK. You're going to have to explain a bit better. Looks like it's a non-consensual conversation at large. So I'd appreciate if you could explain what you're trying to say, brother. Give me a second, guys. I'm just checking food. Yeah, it's nearly done. So I'm going to put some custard on. So I'm going to talk to you all as I put the custard on. My brother's name is Yasha. There is like yellow what? I have no idea. I don't even think Alicia can explain what you speak sometimes, brother. Really, I don't know if she can. Right, let's quickly wash them. Where the hell's the brush? There's the brush. I am listening, guys. I'm just trying to put on some custard. Sort out this dessert. Where's the custard? Where's the custard? Where's the tea? I am incredibly disorganised today. Unbelievably disorganised. This is the most disorganised I've been in a while. I read that food aid ships distributed by the Ottoman Empire. Yeah, no, it was brilliant. Without them, we would have lost millions. Then let's be fair about this. We'd have lost absolute millions. Dale is a curry. Is a lentil curry. I'd probably eat it. He's in the living room having his tea. The food aid ships dispatched by the Ottomans during the Irish famine, the place where it docked, the place is still known by... Yeah, no. The town has been renamed. There's a renaming of the town directly. The coat of arms has got the Ottoman markings on it. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi, everyone. Welcome to my live. I'm just sorting out dessert, so I will get back to usual answering of questions. I hope everyone's civilised in the comment section. Where was the last time you had chicken wings? God knows, okay? A horrific a time ago, I suspect. Chicken wings. Months ago? I mean, SK, I'm starting to put on a belly now, you know. I wanted to cut back on what I'm eating, not improve on it. Oh. Okay, now this strudel came out really nice. So for the internet's approval, my strudel, just so everyone's getting a good old Genghis at my strudel. Chop it up. Where's the... Ow. Burn myself, why don't I? Kids, do not use this without a kitchen utensils. You end up burning your hands. Not that I ever pay attention, to be honest. Yeah, I think it's a meal. Sister. A lentil curry. Evaporated milk with tea. Ugh, evaporated milk. No. Chicken wings. I think Ali Dawah is... Ali Dawah is a controversial figure, I think, is probably the best word I'd use for him. But in essence, I think he's a noble man who's trying to do noble good, but he is controversial in our country. I like some of his content. I don't like all of his content. Does that make sense? Some of his content is unnecessarily provocative, if that makes sense. Because you don't need to provoke the community out loud like that. I like him too. But he can be extremely provocative. I'm more of a fan of Muhammad Hijab. He's incredibly intellectual, vast intellectual mind of the man. With no fail, without. He's funny, educated, hardworking. He does have some controversial views in upon what he thinks should happen in Britain, and that's why controversial from a Western point of view. Does that make sense? Unnecessarily so. Realistically, some of the reforms that he wants to create Islamically, they're not going to happen in my lifetime, and certainly not most of yours. You're going to be old before we get anywhere close to that kind of level of transformation in the UK. So I think it's unnecessary him provoking the British apparatus by speaking about these kind of reforms. Does that make sense? If you've seen some of his earlier material when he used to hang around with Dawah Man. I don't know if he holds those beliefs anymore, though. That's an interesting thing, because I've seen and consumed quite a lot of Ali Dawah's material and Muhammad Hijab. I think very, very highly of both men on an academical level. The controversy that he courts is that a personality thing? Do you think he does that deliberately to be personal or political? I've been contemplating stitching some, not stitching, covering their videos, especially some of their lives. Not anymore. Okay. Okay, so he doesn't hold that anymore. Right, fair enough. Because he used to have some controversial opinions in his early years. Having never personally met these men and never actually spoken to them as of yet, so I'm giving you a gauge of what I know of them from online. Give me 2 seconds, I'm just going to take my flatmate's his dessert. Right. Give me a second. Help myself my half strudel. Have I been on this for an hour? I have. Damn. I think it's the longest live I've ever had. Let me straighten this up. But yeah, I think very highly of them academically. I just think from a jurisprudence point of view, I think he can be unnecessarily provocative towards our host society. Alhamdulillah. So I don't see the need to unnecessarily provoke. Does that make sense? I'm just happy. I'm not saying that I don't like what he says. Far from it. I think he in his early years was unnecessarily provocative toward the British public and unnecessarily combative. And that doesn't mean I disagree with what he says. I'm just happy. I'm not even. So you think Ali Dawah should tone? No. He's toned it down already, Joe. Does that make sense? He's already toned down what he's done. I'm talking about his early videos when he used to hang around with Dawah Man. If you know any of their early consumptible material, you'll understand what I'm speaking about. Their early material is very bombastic. I'm trying to be civil in this regard because on a Dawah level, I have a great deal of respect for both men. On an academical level, I disagree with some of the materialistical acquaintances that they engage in. I'm provocative too. Really? In what way, Janama? So, but like I said, I like them. I'm hoping to meet them, Zeus. I'm going hopefully at the end of this month. I don't know how I'm getting up there yet. I think I might go up Sunday the 29th. Something like that. Or I might go up the end of this week, to be honest. My little brother from another mother. My little brother from another mother. That's probably why. But like I said, their early material was very provocative. And again, let me be fair about this sister. I didn't disagree with it. You'd have to ask a mufti or an alim for that kind of question, brother. I could not possibly comment because I don't know. Throughout human history, nobody's perfect, and we've always conflicted, and mostly it's been over resources, pride, man's hubris to man. Pick any of those reasons. My apologies. Not exactly pleasant with what I was doing with my mouth. But yeah, too big a mouthful. The nature of what it means. Yeah, I'm fine, Dr. Zeus. Just a bit of a too hot a piece. The nature of Dawah scenes requires a level of patience. He is very intelligent, but he's also overly passionate, over passionate, and as such, in my opinion, Ali Dawah in his younger years, as well as Dawah Man, they tended to let their passion overrun them. To be fair, I'm just happy. There's enough resources on our planet to this day to feed, house, and look after every human being carefully. We just need to get rid of the billionaires. There are no ethical billionaires on this planet, and there never will be. To become a billionaire, you have to screw over the system or countries or systems that you operate in, and that's my fundamental belief. So there are no ethical billionaires, and you could like what he bought Twitter for, or what Elon Musk bought Twitter for. You can feed the fucking human race comfortably with sustainable food. Loopholes, right? Right now is what matters. This is very true, sister. What we can do for our ummah now is concentrate on protecting our weakest parts of our ummah, our brothers and sisters in Palestine, in China, in India. There's a brewing something going on in India. We can't take our eye off what's going on in India. Thank you, sister. We realistically need to pay attention to what's going on in India, just so we don't let anybody think that we weren't warning the world. Keep them attentive, keep them paying attention. The Indian issue is one we need to be constantly observant of. Our brothers and sisters in Yemen as well, especially with how our own brothers are bombing them, how the Arab League are destroying their lives. And generally I feel that if their grievances with the Houthis are so grievous, they should send troops on the ground. They really should. There's no... this Sunday, I don't know the answer to that question, sister. Yeah, no, I'd love to, but I don't know the answer to that question, because that might be the Sunday I'm travelling down to London. Salam alaikum. Unknown past. Welcome. If we're doing the podcast, I might be doing it to you from a hotel room in London. Wow. Because a lot of people would disagree with you voting for Mufti Mink. Because if we had to have an election for reasons like that, the Mufti Mink is, though incredibly popular, he is also hated by a lot of deeply conservative Muslims who don't think he goes far enough. There are also the liberal Muslims who don't like him. So to unite the Ummah would be difficult. Why do Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, marry Aisha? Why did? Politics. We got to think that our Prophet, peace be upon him, did the absolute best for his Ummah. So most of his wives were married for political reasons. Again, with the Sahaba, they were marrying widows, they were marrying divorcees, they were making clan alliances. So he married Aisha purely to strengthen ties between, I don't know the extent detail of it, but I'm pretty sure Abu Bakr's tribe or group within his clan is different from the ones that the Prophet was. So it was like most marriages of those time periods, they were marriages of alliances for politics, for warfare, for closer personal ties. Take your pick for reasons, really. I mean, any one of those would be an excellent example of reasoning. But his marriage to Aisha was always think of the Prophet's actions within the best intent. That is the best way of looking at it. What was the Prophet's intention? Always look at it within a positive light. Because if you don't look at it in a positive light, you then fall into the trap of Western ideology. You really do. My beard's getting messy. And I'm dribbling. But when we're talking about the marriage of Aisha, in essence, you need to pay attention to the reality that the Prophet's intentions were always noble, they were pure, and they were for good reason. And when you take into that account, then you can understand the reasoning behind it. Tribal alliances, political attinements, making sure Abu Bakr and his people were together, etc., etc., honouring Abu Bakr's family and clan for what they had done. There are a multitude of tribal reasons in the early parts of Islam that he would have married her. Remember, the Prophet stayed with one wife for like nearly 30 years. He was married to Khadija, his first wife, for decades. Many people don't tend to talk about that. They don't tend to acknowledge the fact that the Prophet was married for up to, I don't know the extent of when he got married to his other wives. I think he was in his 40s or 50s. Right. Finally finished munching. Been on this for an hour. Wow. I should do more for tea time in the mornings. No, of course there's no hatred for our sister, for our mother Aisha. Becoming a billionaire, inshallah, in order to help my Muslim brothers and sisters. So, another day, and let me know one day in advance, inshallah. Friend said he was rich. My friend said he wants a rich wife. When I asked why, he said, I am following Sunnah. Whenever it is conversed for you, I will absolutely try to, sister. I will absolutely try, sister. Alhamdulillah. I'm actually quite surprised how long I've been on today. I don't normally do an hour-long lives, but I think I need to plan up towards them. And I need to come on live more regularly on a proper timetable. Absolutely, sister. We have to look after our own. Do I know the Battle of Carbeal? I probably know its English name, so I don't know, Dr. Zeus. To be quite honest, I would have to look up what its English name would be, because there's probably a Romo-Greco name for it. And the Prophet's time period is genuinely outside of my specialty. I don't know about billionaires. Honestly, sister, I don't think there's an ethical billionaire in the world today. They've proven themselves to be maniacal, money-grabbing, power-hungry people. I don't know whether being a billionaire is an ethical position to be in. Millionaire, absolutely. You can have ethical millionaires, people who build from their trade or the goods, etc., on a regular basis, without a shadow of a doubt. And may Allah reward you for it, absolutely, as Hijabi sister says. Any other questions, ladies and gentlemen, of the class of 1705 2022? I don't think we want to be honest. I'm just happy. I don't think I get the impression that Ummah would be happy with just having our Middle East and North African territories and tell the world, fair enough, to get on with your own stuff. If we could reclaim Africa and the Levant, alhamdulillah, we'd be happy as Larry. Let the world get on with the rest of it, while the Ummah concentrates on itself, worrying about deen and science and literature. It's a joke, Joe. I'm referring towards the date. I don't have many TV shows or films, to be honest. I don't watch a great deal of television, Zeus, if I'm to be completely honest. The thing, Joe, was me having a joke about the date and like the class of 1960 or something like that, when people make comments on television or entertainment. But it has been a pleasure having most of you for an hour, and I'm going to skadoodle, as I quite often say. How to eat chocolate. Stick it in your hole and swallow. I don't watch a great deal of Doctor Who, to be honest. Like my sister, I watch a lot of documentations, and I read a great deal too. But I think I'm going to call that at an hour and 5 minutes. And it's been a pleasure having you all, and thank you all for coming to my live. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And I will speak to you hopefully tomorrow, if I'm not making a bigger upload, though I think I'm going to try and finish my videos tomorrow. And I will speak to you soon.